I gave my daughter a small calf so she could start a new life full of dreams and independence. But when I arrived, she was crying, forced by her mother-in-law to do the dirtiest work for free while she laughed and took everything. The betrayal by those closest to me hit me like a knife, but I acted quickly, and this injustice will turn into revenge that will change everything, leaving no stone unturned. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now, the bells above morning brew. Calf jingled when I pushed through the glass door. Burnt coffee hit my nose first, then something sour from the kitchen. Wrong, all wrong. Then I saw her, my daughter Delphine, on her knees in the bathroom doorway, door propped open for the whole world to see, scrubbing tile grout with a toothbrush. Her face was red, wet. She wiped at her eyes with the back of one hand, kept scrubbing with the other. Delphine, you missed a spot. Again. The voice came from behind the counter, sharp, sweet as artificial sweetener. A woman in her early 60s sat at the register like it was a throne. Silver hair perfect, designer glasses on a chain. Aura Foster, my daughter's mother-in-law, in the calf I bought for Delphine 3 months ago with every penny I had. Delphine's head jerked up. Our eyes met. Hers went wide, panicked. Dad! Lemuel! Aura's smile could have sold insurance. What a lovely surprise. We weren't expecting you. My jaw tightened. I came to see my daughter. I walked toward Delphine. And her calf? Our calf, dear. Delphine and I are partners now. Aura tilted her head. Didn't she tell you? The toothbrush fell from Delphine's hand, clattered on tile. Hi, Dad. Sorry, I'm just... Her voice cracked. Finishing something. Partners. The word sat in my chest like spoiled meat. I'd spent 35 years as a health inspector. Knew when something was rotting. Travis sat in the corner. Delphine's husband, Aura's son, laptop open, eyes down. He shifted in his seat when I looked at him but didn't speak. One customer in the whole place, an older woman at the window table. She stared into her coffee like it held answers. Let me help you, honey. I reached for the toothbrush. Oh, no, Lemuel. Aura stood, smoothed her skirt. She needs to understand proper cleaning standards. The health inspector was very clear last month. My hand stopped. What health inspector? Aura waved dismissively. Just routine. Delphine had a few oversights. We fixed everything. Her smile widened. Oh, you'd know about that, wouldn't you? Your old profession? The coffee machine hissed behind the counter. Steam rose. I counted to 5. Travis, I turned to my son-in-law. How's work treating you? He barely looked up. Fine, Dad. Busy. He's been such a help here, Aura answered for him. Managing the finances, dealing with suppliers. Someone needs to handle the serious work. I can handle, Delphine started. Sweetheart, we've discussed this. Stick to what you're good at. Aura's voice dripped honey. The baking. Delphine's hands curled into fists. She stood, grabbed a rag, moved to the nearest table, started wiping in circles. Fast circles. I ordered coffee from Aura. Not from my daughter. Had to. She poured it with theatrical precision. Tell me what you think of our blend. I've made some improvements to the sourcing. Our improvements. Every word a tiny knife. The coffee was weak, bitter, wrong temperature. I'd shut down restaurants for less. Delicious, I said. My hand shook when I raised the cup. Coffee sloshed, spilled on the counter. Aura's eyes tracked the movement. Something flickered in her expression. Satisfaction, maybe. She pulled a towel from under the counter, wiped the spill with exaggerated care. No worries, Lemuel. Accidents happen. I wanted to grab that towel, wanted to deep breath, count to 10 this time. The woman at the window table stood, left without finishing her coffee. The bell jangled behind her. I'd love to see the partnership papers, I said, voice steady, casual. Business documents, so boring. Aura laughed. Travis handles all that legal stuff. Isn't that right, honey? Travis nodded, said nothing. 35 years I'd inspected restaurants. Watched owners lie, watched them squirm, watched them try every trick in the book. I knew guilt. I knew deception. I knew when I was looking at both. Well, I set down my cup. I should let you ladies get back to work. Oh, we're always working, Aura beamed. Running a successful business takes constant attention. Constant. But that's what family does, right? We support each other. I looked at Delphine. She stood at the far table, rag in hand, staring at nothing. Right, I said. The bells jangled when I left, gentler this time, or maybe my ears were ringing too loud to tell. I drove home. 20 minutes through Portland traffic, mind racing, hands tight on the wheel. Around 7, my doorbell rang. Delphine stood in my apartment hallway, eyes red. She walked in without speaking, sat on my couch, pulled her knees to her chest. I told her I was picking up supplies, she whispered. I sat beside her, waited. The dam broke. Dad, I'm so sorry. Tears streamed down her face. I didn't want to tell you. I was ashamed. Ashamed of what? She said she'd help with startup costs. Said it was a family investment. Made it sound so generous. Her words tumbled out, fast, desperate. Then the papers. There was so much legal language. Travis said it was normal. He promised it was just to protect everyone. My chest tightened. Let me see them. She pulled a folder from her bag. Shaking hands. I opened it. Partnership agreement. Page 1 looked standard. Page 3 made my stomach turn. Page 7. She owns 51%, Delphine sobbed. The lawyer said I can't. Forget what the lawyer said. My voice came out cold, flat. I'll fix this. Dad, she's got money, connections. And I... Delphine. I took her hands. Look at me. She did. I spent 35 years closing down restaurants that broke the rules. I squeezed her hands. I'll fix this. Fast. She left after 10, sneaking back like a teenager breaking curfew. I sat in the dark. The partnership documents lay on my coffee table. 51 pages of legal theft. My eyes drifted to the shelf. Between my vintage sanitation posters, Wash Your Hands, Save Lives, from 1952, sat a small leather wallet. I hadn't opened it in 3 years. My hand reached almost by itself. Inside, my old ID badge. Senior Health Inspector, Oregon Health Authority. The photo showed a younger me, more hair, less gray, same eyes that had shut down 43 restaurants in my career. I ran my thumb over the embossed seal. A smile crept across my face, not a nice smile. The badge sat on my nightstand when I woke. Habit kicked in, early mornings, decades of them. 6 a.m. sharp, I showered, dressed carefully, khakis, button-down shirt, comfortable shoes, inspector casual. Muscle memory is funny. Hadn't worn this combination in 3 years. My reflection showed someone different from yesterday's shocked father. This man had a plan. The caf opened at 7. I got there at 7:30. Delphine stood behind the counter alone, dark circles under her eyes. She jumped when the bell rang. Dad, what are you... Black coffee, please. I spoke loud enough for the 2 customers at separate tables. And one of those cinnamon rolls. Her eyes flickered, understanding. Right. Yes. 1 coffee, 1 roll. Coming up. I took the corner table, unfolded the Oregonian, glanced at headlines I didn't read. My real attention was on operations. The refrigerator door hung open. 20 seconds. 30. Temperature abuse. Delphine grabbed milk, closed it finally. No thermometer visible on the outside. Red flag. Dairy products sat near the prep area, too close to where she'd just cut vegetables. Cross-contamination risk. No date stickers on opened containers. Violation of OAR 333-50-0. Her phone sat on the prep counter. Contamination vector. I'd seen enough in 10 minutes to cite 5 violations. My coffee arrived. I thanked her. She hurried away. 35 years I'd done this. The same way a carpenter sees load-bearing walls, I saw health code violations. Automatic, unavoidable. Lemuel, becoming a regular already? Aura appeared from the back. Fresh makeup, fresh smile. She pulled out the chair across from me. Uninvited. See, I told Delphine. Good coffee sells itself. The place seems different from last time. I sipped my coffee. Still weak. Still wrong temperature. New systems? Oh, absolutely. Aura leaned forward, eager. I've implemented several efficiency measures. Reduced waste, optimized inventory, streamlined operations. Small businesses fail because of overspending on unnecessary things, such as premium dairy for one. The generic brand is half the price. Her eyes glittered. Customers can't tell the difference. Optimize. Corporate speak for cheap out. I'd shut down a restaurant for serving expired milk once. Apparently, in Aura's world, expired was just another optimization opportunity. Mental note, check the walk-in fridge date labels, if they existed. Smart, I said. Thank you. Travis and I have been reviewing every expense line. He's got such a head for numbers. Travis arrived then, nodded at me, sat at his usual corner table, headphones on before his laptop even opened. The morning rush started. 3 customers became 5. Delphine moved between counter and tables. Aura stayed planted at the register. No, no, no. Aura's voice cut through the caf. Buzz. She crossed to where Delphine wiped a table. Circular motions. Watch. She grabbed the cloth from Delphine's hand. Demonstrated. Slow, deliberate, like teaching a child. See? No streaks. It's not complicated. I was doing it that way. Were you? Because 3 customers mentioned streaky tables yesterday. 3. Do you know what that does to our reputation? 2 customers at nearby tables shifted. Uncomfortable. Travis looked up. Mom, maybe... Travis, please. I'm training her. Someone has to. 35 years I'd inspected restaurants. Never once did I check if tables were wiped in circles or straight lines. Know why? Because it doesn't matter. But control matters to people like Aura. Control is the point. Excuse me, I stood. Could I use the bathroom? Of course, Aura beamed. Down the hall. We keep everything very clean. Lemuel would approve, wouldn't you, Lemuel, given your background? I walked past the counter. The bathroom hallway gave me a perfect view of the kitchen pass-through. Cleaning chemicals stored on the shelf next to dry goods. Violation. Mop sink too close to hand-washing sink. Another violation. I took 3 photos with my phone. Quick, subtle. The bathroom itself was clean. Delphine's work, I'd bet. But the hand-washing station had a crack in the sink basin. Minor, but citable. 4 more photos. When I returned, Aura had taken my seat. Literally. She sat in my chair, looking at my newspaper. You know what section I love? She didn't wait for an answer. Business. I read it every morning. Understanding market trends is crucial for success. I'm sure it is. Delphine never reads it. No head for business, that girl. Sweet, but... Aura trailed off. Let the silence finish her sentence. I pulled out my wallet. Left a 20 on the table. Coffee and roll were maybe $6. Keep the change, Delphine. Aura's hand shot out. Took the 20. Smiled at me while she counted it. Pocketed it. How generous. We'll put it toward new equipment. The espresso machine needs repairs. Delphine stood by the counter, staring. I left without looking back. Home. Laptop. 3 hours reviewing Oregon Administrative Rules, Chapter 333. The health code I'd memorized decades ago. Some things had changed. Most hadn't. My notebook filled with violations I'd observed. Temperature control failure, cross-contamination risks, improper date labeling, chemical storage violations, equipment maintenance issues. All minor, individually. Together, different story. Around 6, I called Dewey, DeWitt Clark. 40 years in the health authority. We'd trained together, worked together, closed down the Morrison Street Bistro together in 6 hours flat. He picked up on the 3rd ring. Lem Patterson, 3 years retired, and suddenly calling about health code violations. What's the occasion? Can't an old friend check in? His laugh barked through the phone. You never checked in once in 3 years. Spill it. Who screwed up? Hypothetically. I leaned back in my chair. Small calf? New ownership. Several OAR 333-150 violations. Temperature control, date labeling, cross-contamination risks. Hypothetically. His tone shifted. Professional. That's 3 citable offenses. How bad? Bad enough. But the owner's confident. Thinks rules don't apply. Those are always my favorite. Dewey's smile came through the phone. The confident ones. We talked for an hour. About nothing. About everything. About the old days. You know what, Lem? I miss working with you. The department's different now. Younger guys, all about computers and risk assessments. Nobody's got that instinct anymore. That feel for when something's wrong. I pulled open my old filing cabinet, the one I'd kept from my office. 43 years of contacts. Inspectors, supervisors, department heads, people who owed me favors, people I'd trained, People who remembered when Senior Inspector Patterson shut down that bistro in 6 hours flat for flagrant violations. Martinez, Chen, O'Donnell. My finger traced down the pages. Dewey, I said, voice soft. Someone's about to get a refresher course on Oregon Administrative Rules, Chapter 333. Time to see if Ora Foster really understands what business optimization means. I hung up. In the silence of my apartment, I whispered 5 words to the empty room. Welcome to my world, Ora. 2 days after I'd whispered that threat into my empty apartment, I sat at my kitchen table surrounded by paper. Not just any paper, 35 years of accumulated knowledge, Oregon administrative rules, printouts, health code violation checklists, complaint form templates. My coffee had gone cold. Hadn't noticed. The filing cabinet in the corner stood open. Contact lists, inspection protocols, enforcement procedures. Everything I'd promised myself I'd forget in retirement. Funny how it all comes rushing back when you need it. I pulled up the Oregon Health Authority's website. Official complaint form right there in the public portal. Simple, clean, bureaucratic. But I didn't just fill it out. I crafted it. Every word chosen to trigger red flags. Multiple violations observed. Cross-contamination risks. Temperature abuse of potentially hazardous foods. Repeated concerns from vulnerable populations. Magic phrases. The kind that bump a complaint from routine follow-up to immediate inspection. I'd written 3,000 inspection reports in my career. This one felt different, better, more personal. My yellow legal pad sat next to the laptop. 4 stages outlined in my cramped handwriting. Stage 1, health inspection. Stage 2, social reputation damage. Stage 3, legal action. Stage 4, financial consequences. Stage 1 was almost ready. Just needed the final pieces. My burner phone app, downloaded the night before, paid account, untraceable to my main number, sat open on my phone. I dialed Delphine. She answered on the first ring. Hello? Honey, you alone? Silence. Then, Travis is at his mother's. Dad, what's going on? Listen carefully. I kept my voice level. Tomorrow when you close, I need you to forget a few things. The date labels on the dairy? Don't replace them. That temperature log by the walk-in? Maybe you're too tired to fill it in. Long pause. You're setting her up? I'm letting the truth show itself. I gripped the phone tighter. Will you help me? Her voice dropped to a whisper. What time should I expect? Truth. Day after tomorrow, mid-morning, you'll know when. After we hung up, I stared at my laptop screen. The complaint form was complete. Perfect. Devastating. My finger hovered over the submit button. This was it. Once I clicked this, I'd be using 35 years of professional knowledge to target my own daughter's business. Sure, Ora had created the violations. Ora had cut corners, endangered customers. But Delphine's name was on the license. Her calf, her dream. The one I'd bought with every penny I had. I remembered her face, on her knees, scrubbing grout with a toothbrush, crying, click submit. The coffee shop Wi-Fi made the upload smooth. I'd driven to a Starbucks 6 blocks away at 3 a.m. Paranoid? Maybe. But complaints were logged with timestamps and IP addresses. Back home, I opened my email. Confirmation from OHA. Your complaint has been received and assigned reference number 2025 PDX 1847. Stage 1. In motion. Late afternoon, my phone rang. Dewey's name on the screen. You still up? His voice was warm. Of course you are. Tell me. Pulled up the complaint. Lem, you manipulative bastard. He laughed. You wrote it like a textbook example. Hit every trigger phrase we have. Vulnerable populations. That's code red for us. I mentioned elderly customers and young children. Exactly. Makes it high risk. Automatic priority response. Papers rustled on his end. Complaints flagged. Should get assigned to a team within 48 hours. Should. Will. I'm monitoring it personally. Not because you asked, because the complaint warrants it. Everything by the book, Lem. I'm not breaking protocol. Your complaint just happens to be perfectly written. You trained me well. Yeah, I did. His voice softened. But Lem, stay away from the scene when it happens. You can't be anywhere near Morning Brew that day. If there's any connection between you and the inspection, I understand. Do you? Because Aura sounds like the type to ask questions. Why now? Why this timing? You visited her caf recently, right? As a customer, as a father. That's what you tell her if she asks. Nothing more. Got it? I promised. Meant it. Mostly. Evening came. I opened my laptop, riding the high of my complaint submission. Stage 1 was working. I could feel it. The Google review page for Morning Brew stared back at me. 43 reviews. Average, 4.2 stars. Most were positive. A few complaints about service speed. Nothing about sanitation. Time to change that. I created a new Google account. Philip Henderson, I'd pulled the name from a random generator website. Apparently the 47th most common male name combination in America. Perfect. Generic. Forgettable. Profile picture stolen from a stock photo site. Middle-aged white guy, slight smile, blue shirt. Could be anyone. Could be everyone. Philip Henderson, concerned citizen and absolute fiction. The review wrote itself. 1 star. Professional, but concerned. Disappointed by apparent lack of attention to sanitation standards. Observed concerning practices during recent visit. Hope management takes food safety more seriously. My cursor hovered over post. Should I use a VPN? Proxy server? No. Overthinking it. Just a review. From a fake account with a fake name and a fake photo. Clicked post. 11:47 p.m. The review appeared instantly. I leaned back, satisfied. 2 strategic strikes in one day. The complaint, official and devastating. The review, public and damaging. 35 years I'd filed inspection reports. Never once had I enjoyed it this much. My laptop chimed. Video call, incoming. Fletcher's face filled the screen. Berlin apartment behind him. Dad, you look different. Focused. I'm fixing what needs fixing. Does Delphine know your plan? She knows enough, not everything. Fletcher leaned closer to his camera. And the legal side? Is it? Everything I'm doing is legal. I'm just making sure the law does its job. He nodded slowly. Dad, I'm transferring $5,000 to your account tomorrow morning. Don't argue. You spent your retirement on Delphine's dream. Let me help protect it. My throat tightened. You're a good son, Fletcher. Learned from a good father. His smile was fierce. Now go get her. After we hung up, I sat in the dark. Fletcher's support steadied me, made this feel less like revenge, more like justice. My phone buzzed. Past midnight. Dewey again. It's done. No preamble. Day after tomorrow, at 10 a.m. Martinez and Chen. They're the best we have. Thorough, fair, by the book. They'll find everything that's findable. Dewey, don't thank me. I didn't do anything except let the system work exactly as designed. You wrote a textbook perfect complaint. It got the response it deserved. He paused. Lim, stay away from Morning Brew that day. You hear me? If Aura suspects any connection, I understand. But I knew myself. I'd spent 35 years watching inspections unfold. I wouldn't miss this one. After we hung up, I sat listening to Portland's rain against my window. Stage 1, almost complete. 48 hours until Aura Foster learned what 3 decades of health inspection experience looked like when aimed at her. My phone glowed. One new notification. Google alert. Someone had replied to my Philip Henderson review. I opened it, expecting nothing. Aura, her verified business account. The reply was public, visible to everyone. We take all customer concerns seriously and would appreciate the opportunity to discuss your experience. Please contact us directly at your earliest convenience. We pride ourselves on exceeding all health and safety standards. Professional, appropriate. And underneath, a threat. I'm watching. I see you. I will find you. Should have felt worried. Instead, I smiled. Let her watch. Let her waste energy chasing Philip Henderson's ghost. I had bigger problems lined up for her. Problems with badges and clipboards and the full force of Oregon administrative rules. Chapter 333. 2 days crawled by like wounded animals. I cleaned my apartment twice. Reorganized my vintage sanitation poster collection. Called Fletcher to discuss Berlin weather, of all things. Anything to burn time. The morning of the inspection, I woke at 5. Couldn't help it. Decades of early morning inspections had programmed my internal clock. By 9:30, I'd violated Dewey's instructions. Been there, small caf, across Morrison Street from Morning Brew. Perfect sightline through both establishments' windows. I ordered cappuccino, made myself comfortable at the corner table. "What temperature do you keep your milk?" I asked the barista. She laughed. "That's a weird question." At 40 degrees? Manager's obsessed with the thermometer. Checks it like 5 times a day. Good manager. The cappuccino arrived. Perfect microfoam. Heated to exactly 150 degrees if I'd bet money. The irony of drinking properly prepared coffee while waiting to watch Morning Brew get cited for temperature violations. Sometimes life has a sense of humor. Usually a dark one. 10 a.m. sharp. White Oregon Health Authority sedan pulled up. 2 inspectors emerged. Woman with clipboard, Martinez. I recognized her from training sessions years ago. Man with digital thermometer visible on his belt. Chen, younger, methodical. All business, no social niceties. Through Morning Brew's large front window, I watched Aura's expression shift. Welcoming smile, then confusion, then concern. Martinez showed her badge. I couldn't hear the words, but I'd said them 1,000 times. Oregon Health Authority, routine inspection. Aura's smile got bigger, welcoming. She thought this was formality. Martinez didn't smile back. Professionals never do. Chen moved toward the kitchen. Aura's hand fluttered up, trying to redirect him. Her gesture said, "Let me show you around." Chen ignored her, also professional. Never let the owner control the inspection route. I took another sip of excellent cappuccino. This was what justice tasted like. Turned out, it tasted like properly steamed milk and other people's panic. Martinez spread out at the front counter, checking temperatures, opening containers. Chen disappeared into the kitchen. Delphine stood frozen by the espresso machine. Travis sat in the corner, laptop open, headphones on, deliberately oblivious. 40 minutes later, the inspectors emerged from the kitchen. Even from across the street, I could see Aura's face had gone pale. She was talking, fast, gesturing, pointing at Delphine, at the kitchen, at the inspection report in Martinez's hand. The universal language of, "This isn't my fault, it's her fault." Martinez's face stayed flat as concrete. I'd trained her well. Never react to the show, just write up the violations. Through Bean, there's window, I watched Aura's performance like it was Netflix. Better than Netflix, this had real consequences. Her face went from concerned business owner to, "I need to speak to the manager," to full Karen nuclear option in about 6 minutes. Martinez handed her papers. Official forms. Yellow copies. Aura snatched them. Started reading. Her expression transformed. Rage. Pure rage. She wheeled on Delphine. Even through closed windows I could tell she was screaming. 2 customers grabbed their coats. Left, hurriedly. Travis pulled off his headphones. Looked up. Did nothing. Cowardice personified. The inspectors left. Professional. Unmoved. They'd seen this show before. I finished my cappuccino. Left cash on the table. Walked to my car 3 blocks away. Home. 20 minutes through traffic. My hands shook on the wheel. Stage 1. Complete. Late afternoon, my burner app rang. Delphine. "Dad, I can't talk. She's—" Aura's voice in the background. "Who are you calling?" "Nobody, just—" Call disconnected. I stared at my phone. Texted instead, "You did perfect. Stay strong. This isn't over." Response came an hour later. "She's blaming me for everything. Says I ruined the business. Travis won't defend me. Dad, I'm scared." I poured whiskey. Neat. 2 fingers. Drank it. Fletcher called around 6. How did it go? $2,500 fine. Written warning. 30-day follow-up inspection scheduled. That's huge. Dad, you did it. Stage 1 complete. Yeah, it worked. Maybe too well. What do you mean? Aura's smart. She's going to ask questions. Why now? Why this timing? But you filed anonymously? There's no connection? I hope you're right. 5 minutes later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Aura's voice. Ice cold. Lemuel. Not Lem. Formal. Cold. We need to talk. My stomach dropped. Aura, what can I do for you? Don't play innocent. It's insulting to both of us. I don't know what. The inspection, the Google review, the timing. You think I'm stupid? My heart pounded. Played dumb anyway. The calf got inspected? That's unfortunate. But these things... Philip Henderson. Ring a bell? Her voice was sharp. No? Because Philip Henderson doesn't exist. But his IP address does. Want to guess what address that is? Silence. My mouth went dry. We need to talk, face to face. Tonight. Or I go to the police with harassment evidence tomorrow morning. Your choice. My apartment. 1 hour. See you then, Lemuel. She hung up. I sat on my couch. Phone still warm in my hand. Felt something I hadn't felt in 40 years of restaurant inspections. Fear. Not abstract fear. Real, concrete fear. Aura had evidence, a lawyer, resources. She could frame this as harassment, stalking, interference with business. The Google review, my own stupid Google review, was proof I'd targeted her establishment. What if I'd miscalculated? What if protecting Delphine meant destroying myself? I was 70 years old. No savings left. Living on Social Security and a modest pension. One lawsuit could wipe me out. My apartment. My dignity. Everything. My hand shook as I poured another whiskey. Then my phone buzzed. Text from Delphine. Dad, she knows you helped me somehow. She's coming for you. I'm so sorry. This is my fault. I read it 3 times. My fault, she said. No. I drank the whiskey. Put the glass down hard enough to crack it. This was Aura's fault. She'd stolen from my daughter, humiliated her, turned her dream into a nightmare. I didn't start this war. I just wasn't going to lose it. 20 minutes until Aura arrived. I paced between kitchen and living room, wearing a path in my cheap carpet. I pulled out the partnership documents. 51 pages. 51 pages of legal theft. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. I'm parking. Bring coffee. This will take a while. Oh, the audacity. I didn't make coffee. The knock came exactly 1 hour after her call. Firm. 3 times. Official. I opened the door. Aura stood in my hallway wearing a cream-colored suit and pearls, like she was attending a board meeting. Silver hair perfect. Makeup perfect. Smile sharp enough to cut glass. Behind her stood a man in his 50s. Gray suit, leather briefcase. He extended his hand. Mr. Patterson, I'm Richard Donovan, Miss Foster's attorney. Thank you for agreeing to meet with us. Us? She'd brought her lawyer. Come in. I stepped back, though I didn't agree to anything. You threatened me, and I'm curious why. Aura swept past me, scanning my apartment like she was assessing property value. The lawyer followed, setting his briefcase on my coffee table, the same table where I'd planned this entire revenge. She turned to face me. Smile disappeared. Lemuel, let's stop playing games. I know you filed that health complaint. I know you posted that Google review. I know you're trying to destroy my business. Your business? I let the words hang. Interesting choice. Yes, my business. The one I saved from your daughter's incompetence. The one you're now sabotaging. She pulled out her phone, tapped it, turned the screen toward me. Philip Henderson's review. Posted from your IP address. At 11:47 p.m., 2 days before the inspection. Want to explain that? The lawyer opened his briefcase, pulled out papers, placed them on my coffee table with practiced precision. Mr. Patterson, you're looking at a harassment claim, intentional interference with business operations, and defamation. Ms. Foster is prepared to file. I laughed, couldn't help it. Aura's eyes narrowed. You think this is funny? I think you came into my home to threaten me with lawyers. I picked up the partnership documents from my coffee table, held them up. Want to talk about illegal activity? Let's discuss fraud, coercion, theft by deception. Those documents are legitimate. Are they? Because the Oregon Secretary of State website shows you filed LLC paperwork 3 weeks before the partnership conversation. Premeditation. That's interesting timing, don't you think? The lawyer looked at Aura. Ms. Foster, you didn't mention... Because it's lies. He's making it up. Public records, I said. Anyone can look them up. I've already sent screenshots to my son, and to a lawyer friend, just in case something happens to me. The room went quiet. Aura stared at me. For the first time since I'd met her, she looked uncertain. Then her phone rang. She glanced at it. Expression shifted, confusion, then alarm. What? When? How many? Listened. I'll be right there. Hung up, looked at me with something close to hatred. Someone just posted photos on Facebook. The health inspection, the violations list. The fine. Portland Foodies Group, 12,000 members. They're destroying us. I kept my face neutral. Inside, I was thinking, Stage 2? I didn't plan that one, but I'll take it. Aura grabbed her purse. This isn't over. No, I agreed, it's not. But Aura, that Google review, that's the least of your problems. You started a war with someone who spent 35 years shutting down people who broke the rules. I'm just getting started. She left, lawyer scrambling after her. I closed the door, leaned against it. My hands were shaking. Stage 1, complete. Her confidence, shaken. Next move, hers. And I had no idea what it would be. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Dad, it wasn't me who posted the photos, but thank you to whoever did. D. If it wasn't Delphine and it wasn't me, then who? The apartment door closed behind Aura and her lawyer. I stood there, back against it, heart hammering. Stage 1 had worked. The inspection, the fine, the Facebook post going viral. But Aura wasn't retreating. She was escalating. And the mystery Facebook post. Someone else was in this game. Someone I didn't know about. That should have worried me more than it did. I poured another whiskey. This one I actually drank. Wait. Voices in the hallway. I opened my door. Quiet. Peered out. Aura and Donovan waited for the elevator, his back to me, checking his phone. Aura stood apart, pulling out her cell. I stayed in my doorway, out of sight. Hallway acoustics are funny things, her voice carried. No, don't worry about Patterson. He's made his little health complaint, feeling powerful. But the transfer documents are almost complete. 1 more month and Morning Brew will be entirely mine, legally and permanently. My breath stopped. His daughter signed everything we need. She was so desperate to save the partnership. Stupid girl doesn't realize she signed away full ownership. 51% was just the first step. The elevator dinged. Aura continued. By the time he figures it out, it'll be too late to challenge. Yes, send the final papers next week. Doors closed, voice cut off. I stood frozen. Not 51%. 100%. Complete theft. My $85,000. Delphine's dream. Everything. Gone in 30 days. I walked back inside, phone in hand, shaking hands. The business card was tucked into my address book. Fern Rodriguez, business attorney. We'd met 3 years ago at Morning Brew. She'd said, "If your daughter ever needs legal help, I know this world." I dialed. 4 rings. "This is Fern Rodriguez." "Ms. Rodriguez, Lemuel Patterson. We met at my daughter's café 3 years ago. I need an emergency meeting. My daughter is being defrauded, and we have approximately 30 days to stop it." Pause. "The café? With the excellent cinnamon rolls?" "Yes." "What kind of fraud?" "The kind where someone steals a business through forged partnership documents. The kind that's almost complete." Long pause. "Mr. Patterson, I can meet you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. My office downtown. Bring every document you have. I'll be there. If this is what you say it is, we have very limited time. Oregon has strict statutes on partnership agreements. Once documents are filed and processed, they're extremely difficult to challenge." "I understand. Do you? Because proving fraud requires substantial evidence. Do you have that?" I thought about Delphine's texts, the business records, the health inspection, and the phone call I'd just overheard. No recording, just my word, worthless in court. "I have some evidence, and 30 days to get more." "Then that's what we'll do. 8 a.m. tomorrow." She hung up. I looked at my apartment. Documents everywhere. My kitchen table looked like a conspiracy theorist's workspace. Stage 1 had worked. Aura had been fined, embarrassed, exposed. I thought that was enough. Wrong. She wasn't backing down. She was going nuclear. My phone buzzed. Text from Delphine. "Dad, are you okay? Travis said his mother is furious. What happened?" What happened? I'd started a war I might not win. I typed, "Meeting with a lawyer tomorrow morning. Things are going to get worse before they get better. Trust me." "Can you do that?" 3 dots. Then, "I trust you. Always." I stared at those 2 words. Always. I opened my laptop, created a new document, evidence log or a Foster fraud case. Started typing. Date, time, location, what I'd overheard, verbatim quotes. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Stage 2 was about to begin. This time it wasn't about health inspections and online reviews. This time it was about the law. And in that arena, I wasn't the expert. Ora knew that. That's why she'd brought a lawyer to threaten me. She'd been one step ahead. I needed to catch up. Fast. 8 a.m. came too fast and too slow. I'd spent the night organizing evidence, printed texts, screenshot business records, timeline, notes from the overheard conversation. By dawn, my kitchen table looked like a crime scene. Fern Rodriguez's office was downtown, converted warehouse, exposed brick, modern glass. Her name on brass plate on the third floor, Rodriguez and Associates, business law. I knocked at 7:53 a.m. She opened the door herself, coffee in hand, already reviewing documents on her laptop. Mr. Patterson, you're early. Good. Her conference room smelled like expensive coffee and desperation, mostly the coffee. My desperation was free. She spread the partnership documents across the table, like a forensic investigator displaying murder evidence, which, legally speaking, this kind of was. These are thorough. Fern's tone was neutral, professional. That's lawyer speak for whoever screwed, you knew what they were doing. Great. I'd been screwed by a professional. Comforting. Can we challenge them? Legally, they're valid. Delphine signed, notarized, filed properly. She looked up. But if she signed under duress, if she didn't understand the terms, if Ora misrepresented what she was signing, that's actionable. We need evidence. I heard her, on the phone. She admitted the whole plan. Your testimony of an overheard conversation? Fern shook her head. Hearsay, inadmissible. We need her words, recorded, undeniable. Oregon's a one-party consent state. Fern's eyebrows rose. You've been researching. 35 years as a health inspector. I know recording laws. If Delphine records conversations she's part of. It's legal evidence. Exactly. Fern smiled. So we need Delphine to provoke Ora into admitting the fraud. On record. She'll do it. Are you sure? Because if Ora discovers the recording... My daughter spent months being humiliated by this woman. She'll do it. I called Dewey. I need tech help. Someone who knows recording devices. Discreet. Legal. Today. Pause. My nephew, Oliver, IT security. 3 hours later, I met Oliver Clark at a coffee shop. Dewey's nephew. 24. IT security specialist. Hoodie, laptop bag, energy drink instead of coffee. Uncle Dewey said you need recording equipment. He pulled out a small device. Sony ICD PX470. Looks like a calf. Order tracker, right? Clips to an apron. 44 hours recording time, voice activated. I took it. And it's legal? Oregon's a one-party consent state. If she's participating, she can record it. Totally legal. What if Ora finds it? Oliver grinned. Generic looking. Worst case, your daughter says it's for tracking orders. Young people are so easy to please. Give them a chance to explain gadgets, and they'll help you commit legal adjacent surveillance for free. That afternoon, I opened my laptop. Proton Mail account. Anonymous. Encrypted. Subject. Disturbing story about exploitation in family business. Morning brew calf? I wrote carefully. Ms. Pierce, I'm writing anonymously because I fear retaliation. Morning brew calf? On Morrison Street? You may remember it for excellent cinnamon rolls. The owner, Delphine Patterson Foster, is being systematically exploited by her mother-in-law, Ora Foster. Ora pressured Delphine into signing away majority control, now treats her like unpaid labor, takes all profits, publicly humiliates her. Recent health inspection revealed violations Ora created. Someone needs to tell this story. Hit send before I could second guess. 3 days crawled by. Delphine wore the recorder clipped to her apron, captured hours of Ora's demeaning commands, cutting remarks, constant criticism, pattern of abuse evidence. Day 4, mid-afternoon. Slow period. Travis had just left for a meeting. Ora counted the register. Delphine approached. Recorder active. Aunt Ora, can I ask you something? What? Ora didn't look up. I've been thinking about the partnership, about the calf. Will it ever really be mine again, the way Dad intended? Ora paused, looked up, amused. Yours? Delphine, sweetie? When was it ever yours? Dad bought it for me. Your father threw away his retirement on a business you couldn't manage. I salvaged it. This calf works because of me? But legally, I still own part of it, right? Ora laughed, cold. Legally, stupid girl, this calf is already mine. The papers you signed, They transfer full ownership. Your father just doesn't know it yet. Another month and it's final. You'll be an employee if I'm generous enough to keep you. Silence on the recording. Delphine genuinely shocked. You signed everything. Travis made sure of that. You trusted him, trusted me, and that was your mistake. Then silence. 10 seconds of nothing. When it resumed, and there's nothing your father can do about it. His little health inspection tantrum cost me $2,500. I'll make that back in a week. That evening we listened in Fern's office. Me, Delphine, Fern, Oliver. When the gap hit, Fern's face fell. Wait. It cut out. Oliver examined the device. Power interruption. The clip must have loosened. I'm sorry. Of course it did. I laughed, slightly hysterical. Of course, because nothing in this plan could go smoothly. Fern cleared her throat. It's still usable. But with that gap, a defense attorney could argue context is missing. So we need more. We need more. 2 nights later, Delphine called. Late evening, voice shaking. Dad, I heard Travis on the phone. With his mother. He said he chose her over me. Come over now. The guest room is yours. She arrived 30 minutes later. 1 suitcase. Red eyes. Tell me. He was on the phone with Aura. I wasn't supposed to hear. She was yelling about someone asking questions. Some food blogger. Travis kept saying he'd handle it. Then Aura must have accused him of being weak because he said, her voice cracked, I chose you over her. I'm with you. I've always been with you. What did you say? I told him to leave. Told him we were done. He tried to explain, but there's nothing to explain. He chose his mother over his wife. Simple as that. My phone pinged. Email. Address I didn't recognize. pdxfoodscene247gmail.com. Subject, Morning Brew situation. I opened it. Mr. Patterson, I'm guessing. I received your message. I'm Octavia Pierce. I remember Delphine. I remember her cinnamon rolls and her smile. I did some digging. Talked to regulars. Something's very wrong at Morning Brew. I'd like to hear Delphine's side. My article publishes in 3 days. Octavia. 3 days. I hadn't expected her to move this fast. I responded, Thank you. I can arrange a meeting. Delphine is ready. But we need discretion. The people exploiting her have resources. Her response came within minutes. I can and will. This story matters. Portland supports its own. Tell Delphine I've got her back. I closed the laptop, looked at Delphine on my couch, suitcase at her feet. Marriage ended. There's a food blogger who wants to hear your story. Article publishes in 3 days. Will it help? It'll make the health inspection look like a parking ticket. She almost smiled. Good. I pulled up the evidence log. Added entries. Recorded admission from Aura Foster. Partial confession. 10-second gap, but substantial incriminating statements. Travis Foster chose mother over wife. Delphine witness. Marriage ending, support system secured. Social media investigation initiated. Public opinion campaign beginning. We were building a case, piece by piece. Stage 2, in motion. Stage 3, coming in 72 hours. My phone glowed with Octavia's last message. Portland supports its own. I smiled. Not a nice smile. Aura thought she'd won. Thought she had everything locked down. She was about to learn what happens when you underestimate a father protecting his daughter, and a daughter who's finally done being the victim. 3 days later, I sat at my kitchen table with Delphine, watching her laptop screen refresh. Octavia Pierce's article had gone live at 6 a.m. By 6:30, 200 shares. By 7, 800. By the time we finished our coffee, around 8, we'd stopped counting. The title sat at the top in bold letters. The Dark Side of Morning Brew, a story of financial abuse and family exploitation. Below it, Delphine's story, not anonymous. She'd insisted on using her real name. People need to know it's real, she'd said. I'm done hiding. I'd been proud of her courage. Now, watching the numbers climb, I wondered if I'd prepared her for what came next. Internet justice moves fast, and it's never neat. Listen to this one, Delphine said, reading. I used to go to Morning Brew weekly until I saw how the owner treated her daughter-in-law. Never going back. Delphine deserves better. It has 847 likes. Keep reading. That woman Aura is exactly the kind of toxic person who ruins small businesses. I witnessed Aura screaming at Delphine for dropping the spoon. A spoon. The comments kept coming, hundreds, then thousands. By noon, Morning Brew's Google reviews were flooded. 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. People posted photos of themselves at other cafes. Hashtags, support Delphine and I boycott Morning Brew. My phone rang. Dewey. Lem, you crazy bastard. It's working. Everyone's talking about it. That's the problem. Everyone's talking. No, that's the solution. Public opinion is a weapon. You just fired it. He was right, but weapons have consequences. That afternoon, Aura posted a response. Official Morning Brew account. Delphine read it aloud. Morning Brew management wishes to address recent defamatory allegations. Management, I said. She's calling herself management of your caf? Claims made are one-sided and omit crucial context. Morning Brew was facing financial insolvency when Ms. Foster invested capital to save it. Delphine scrolled. Oh no. The comments. What are they saying? Top comment has 400 likes. Found Aura's burner account. Next one. This is exactly the gaslighting described in the article. She was making it worse for herself. Good. Let her dig deeper. Around 4, my phone buzzed. Text from Delphine. Dad, turn on TikTok. Search Morning Brew. The video had 120,000 views. Aura, red-faced, screaming at Delphine in the caf while customers recorded. You leaked this. You told that blogger lies about me. Delphine stood quietly, calm, while Aura unraveled. The comments were brutal, creative, hilarious. She's giving strong, I want to speak to the manager energy, except she is the manager, and the manager's screaming at the owner. I screenshot that one. For posterity. That evening, my email pinged. Unknown sender. Subject. Your past. I opened it. Mr. Patterson. I've learned interesting information about your employment history, specifically your termination from County Health Inspection in 1999 for conflict of interest and ethical violations. My stomach dropped. 25 years. I'd kept that buried for 25 years. $20,000, cash. Instructions will follow. Or Portland Sentinel receives a full dossier on your fraudulent career. You have 48 hours. Delphine looked up from her laptop. Dad, you okay? Fine. I closed the email, opened it again, read it twice. She crossed to me. What is it? I showed her. Her face went pale, then hard. What happened in 1999? I'd known this question would come eventually, hoped it wouldn't. I was a county inspector. Saw another inspector cite a small family restaurant, Mexican place, elderly immigrant couple, for violations that were technically accurate, but applied with unusual strictness. The kind of strictness white-owned restaurants didn't face. Delphine listened. I filed a complaint about discriminatory enforcement. My supervisor disagreed. I went over his head to the county commissioner. The restaurant's citations got reduced, and I got fired. For standing up for fairness, for insubordination, and conflict of interest. I'd eaten at their restaurant twice, technically violated impartiality protocols. I paused. So technically they were right to fire me. But you were standing up against discrimination. Yes, and I lost my job for it. Had to move to Oregon. Start over. I never told you and Fletcher because it's complicated. Being right doesn't always mean winning. 25 years. I'd spent 35 years rebuilding that career in Oregon. One email could destroy it. 3 whiskeys. That was too many. I poured them anyway. What if Delphine believed Aura's version? What if she thought her father was actually corrupt? Maybe I had gone too far. Maybe I should have just hired a lawyer from the beginning, filed a civil suit, handled this through proper channels. Instead, I'd orchestrated health inspections, manipulated social media, pushed my daughter to record conversations. Was I any better than Aura? I looked at my phone. I could call Fletcher, ask him to wire the money. End this, or I could keep fighting. I drank the 3rd whiskey, then poured the rest down the sink. 3 was too many. I needed to think clearly. I opened a new document, started typing. Everything about 1999, every detail. If Aura was going to tell my story, I'd tell it first. My way. If my children couldn't understand that sometimes doing the right thing costs you everything, then I'd failed to teach them the most important lesson anyway. Delphine put her hand on my shoulder. Dad, you sacrificed your job to do the right thing. Now you're doing it again. That's not corruption. That's consistency. The email says you'll be disappointed in me. The email is from a woman who slaps her own son and steals from her daughter-in-law. She turned my laptop toward me. Look, public opinion is decided. You're the hero. Tell the whole story. They'll understand. When had she become so strong? Okay, I said. Tomorrow morning I call Portland Sentinel. Tell them everything. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. 48 hours starts now. I know you're with Delphine. I know you're planning something. Pay me, or I destroy you both. Oh, not even hiding anymore. I put the phone down, looked at Delphine. Tomorrow morning I'm calling Portland Sentinel and forwarding them this text. Blackmail is a crime in Oregon. She smiled. Fierce. Tomorrow morning. But tonight, let's watch her PR statement get torn apart. I'll make popcorn. We spent the next hour reading comments. Someone had edited the TikTok video to add dramatic music. Someone else created a bad business owner bingo card. For the first time in months, Delphine laughed. Really laughed. At midnight, my laptop pinged. Email from Octavia. Lem, Portland Sentinel contacted me for an interview. They're doing a follow-up piece about systemic elder financial abuse in family businesses. Your fight is becoming a movement. A movement? Christ, I just wanted to save my daughter's calf. I typed back, Octavia, I'm calling Sentinel tomorrow with a story about my own past. Can you connect me with the right reporter? Her response, already done. Marcus Chen. Expect his call at 8 a.m. Portland loves comeback stories, especially ones about standing up to bullies. I closed the laptop. 46 hours until Aura's deadline. 8 hours until Marcus Chen called. 1 week until the lawsuit hit the courts. I turned off the lights. Tomorrow, we'd tell Portland the truth. All of it. And we'd let Aura face the consequences of threatening the wrong man. Morning came with Marcus Chen's phone call at exactly 8 a.m. I'd been awake since 6, rehearsing. How do you explain 25 years of buried history without sounding defensive? Turns out, you just tell the truth. Marcus listened for 40 minutes without interrupting. When I finished, including Aura's blackmail demand and threatening text, there was silence. Then, Mr. Patterson, this isn't about corruption. This is about someone who sacrificed their career for fairness and is doing it again. Can you forward me that blackmail text? Oregon has strong anti-blackmail statutes. This woman just committed a felony. I forwarded them immediately. By noon, Marcus had written his article. By 2 p.m. it was published. The Inspector's Principles. Lemuel Patterson's 25-year fight for justice. Aura's blackmail attempt had backfired spectacularly. Instead of destroying my credibility, she'd given me a platform to explain exactly why I fought so hard, and she'd committed a crime doing it. The article included quotes from the restaurant owners I'd defended in 1999. Marcus had tracked them down. They were still running their business. Grateful. It included the blackmail texts, with Aura's identity revealed through reporter investigation. Oregon State Bar received complaint about the extortion. By evening, Aura's lawyer, her third, quit. Richard Donovan had left after the confrontation. The second lasted 1 day after learning about the blackmail. The third sent one aggressive cease and desist letter, then withdrew when he read Marcus's article. Ms. Foster, did you send extortion demands? Because if you did, I'm withdrawing immediately. I don't represent criminals. 2 days later, Fern filed the official lawsuit, Patterson versus Foster, Multnomah County Court. Fraud, coercion, theft by deception. Court date, 1 week. That afternoon, I walked past a Bank of America branch, saw Aura at the ATM. She tried to withdraw cash. Screen said, transaction denied. Limit exceeded. She tried again. Denied. Again. Denied. Her hands shook. She leaned her forehead against the machine. Her shoulders shook. Crying. For a moment I saw not the villain, but a desperate woman who'd gambled everything and lost. Then I remembered Delphine scrubbing bathroom floors while crying. The pity faded. I walked away. That night, Delphine got a text from Travis. I'm sorry. For everything. Tell your father he won. We're leaving Portland. Don't look for us. The next morning, we arrived at court for the hearing. Aura and Travis didn't show. The bailiff confirmed. No contact, no lawyer, no response. Fern requested warrant for Aura's arrest. We drove to her apartment. Neighbors said they'd seen them loading a car with suitcases around 2 a.m. The apartment was empty, lease unpaid. Ora Foster had fled. 2 days later, Delphine returned to Morning Brew for the first time as undisputed owner. Fern had gotten an emergency order preventing Ora from accessing the property. We unlocked the door. Me, Delphine, Fletcher, who'd flown in from Berlin, and Fern. The register was empty. Ora had taken the cash. Inventory was decimated. Bills piled on the counter. Utilities, suppliers, rent. A note taped to the espresso machine in Ora's handwriting. This could have been successful if you'd just stayed out of the way. You ruined everything. Oh, Fletcher read it, started laughing. She stole your business, embezzled money, committed fraud and blackmail, and we ruined everything. Delphine took the note, folded it carefully, put it in her pocket. I'm framing this, the last words of Ora Foster, still managing to be the victim while fleeing the state. Fern spread documents across a table. With the default judgment, which we'll get since they fled, Delphine owns the CAF, free and clear, but she inherits all the debts Ora created. How much? Delphine asked. Total liabilities, approximately $70,000. Assets, maybe $30,000. Net position, $40,000 in debt. Fletcher cleared his throat. I have $40,000 in savings. It's yours. Fletcher, no. Not negotiable. Dad gave you $85,000 to start this place. I'm giving you $40,000 to save it. We're family. The bell above the door jingled. A woman in her 60s walked in. I heard on the news. Is this place open? Are you Delphine? We're not officially open yet, Delphine said, but I'm making coffee. I would love some. The woman pulled out a folded check. This is from my book club. We want to help. She handed Delphine a check for $800. More people started arriving, some wanting coffee, most bringing donations, flowers, gift cards, checks, cash. One man brought a toolbox. I'm a plumber. Heard you might need repairs. No charge. By noon, we'd collected $6,000. By evening, $12,000. Volunteers scrubbing floors, painting walls, fixing hinges. Fletcher posted photos to Instagram. Morning Brew is rising from the ashes. Community support is incredible. 2,000 likes. That night, back at my apartment, I poured one whiskey. Celebratory. Delphine was asleep on my couch, exhausted but smiling. Fletcher was on the phone with his partner, laughing. My phone buzzed. Email from Fern. Court date rescheduled for next month. Filing for default judgment. Should be straightforward. However, there's one complication about the property deed. Call me in the morning. A complication. Of course. Because nothing in this nightmare had been simple. But I'd learned something. Complications can be overcome. Villains can be defeated. Justice sometimes actually wins. And family, real family, is worth any price. I closed the laptop, drank the whiskey, turned off the lights. 1 month until the court date. 1 month until this nightmare was officially over. Unless Fern's complication turned out to be another battle. I'd find out tomorrow. Tonight, I was going to sleep well. Because my daughter was safe. Her business was saved. And Ora Foster was gone. That was enough. The complication turned out to be simple and devastating. Ora had cleaned out the CAF's register before fleeing. $15,000. Community donations deposited as cash. Money Delphine needed for suppliers. Security footage showed her entering at 1 a.m. She still had keys. Theft. Stupid, desperate theft. I filed the police report at 8 a.m. Detective Morrison was unsurprised. Fleeing suspects grab whatever liquid assets they can. We've issued warrants. Warrants don't pay suppliers. By noon, I had a lead. Dewey called. You sitting down? My buddy at PDX Airport Security ran the names. Ora Foster bought a one-way ticket to Las Vegas yesterday morning. Southwest, departed 6 p.m. Travis was on the same flight. Las Vegas, of course, the city where desperate people gamble their last dollars, hoping for miracles. We flew out the next day. Me, Fletcher, Delphine. Detective Morrison provided Ora's credit card trail. Motel 6, East Tropicana Avenue. 2 miles from the Strip, not the glamorous casino hotels. The kind of place where people hide when they've run out of everything. We arrived mid-afternoon. Nevada heat hit like a wall. 105 degrees, merciless. The motel was sun-bleached pink stucco, cracked asphalt. Aura's rental car sat in spot 47. Room 128, ground floor, curtains drawn. I knocked. Silence. Knocked again. Aura, it's Lemuel Patterson. We need to talk. Long pause. The curtain shifted, someone looking out. Finally, the door cracked. Chains still on. Travis's face appeared. Unshaven, dark circles, looking 10 years older than 3 days ago. She doesn't want to talk to you. I don't care. Open the door or I call Las Vegas police. Your choice. The door closed. Chain rattled. Opened fully. The room smelled like stale cigarettes. 2 unmade beds, empty wine bottles, fast food wrappers scattered. Aura sat on the far bed, back against the headboard. Yesterday's clothes. Her silver hair unwashed, tangled. No makeup. She looked small, defeated. Nothing like the woman who'd swept into my apartment with her lawyer. She didn't look up when we entered. You stole $15,000 from my daughter's calf before you ran, I said. Money community members donated. That's a new low. Silence. Why Las Vegas? I continued. Did you really think you could gamble your way out? Aura's voice came flat. I don't know what I thought. That maybe I'd win. That maybe I'd have money to pay you back. Make it right by stealing another $15,000 on your way out. I panicked. I needed cash. The cards were maxed. I just grabbed what I could. Delphine stepped forward. That was money people donated to help me. Community members who gave out of kindness. Aura finally looked up, eyes red. I know what it was. Do you want to know why? Aura said quietly. Why I did all of it. Greed, I said. She shook her head. When my boutique went bankrupt 10 years ago, I lost everything. Not just money. My friends, my reputation, my place in the world. I was someone. Then, nothing. Just a broke old woman with failed dreams. She looked at Delphine. When you got that calf, I saw an opportunity. Not just to make money, to be someone again, to matter. I started with genuine help, but then I realized I could have this. I could own it. The calf became my last chance to prove I was still worth something. So you stole my dream to rebuild yours, Delphine said coldly. Yes, that's exactly what I did. Travis stepped forward. Delphi, I know you hate me. I deserve it. But please understand. Don't call me Delphi. Don't blame your mother entirely. You made choices. Every step you chose. I was weak. She's controlled me my whole life. You're 37 years old. You had a choice every day when she made me scrub toilets. When she humiliated me publicly, you could have said no. You chose comfort over courage. You chose her approval over my dignity. Travis started crying. I love you. I still love you. I don't care. I'm filing for divorce. I want you out of my life completely. Delphine, please. We're done. Forever. You don't get redemption. You don't get forgiveness. You get to live with what you did. A knock on the door. Las Vegas PD. I'd called them before we entered. Aura Foster? Aura stood slowly. That's me. You're under arrest on warrants from Portland, Oregon. Felony theft, fraud, and embezzlement. She extended her wrists. Got handcuffed. Looked at me one last time. Did you really need to chase me to Las Vegas? Couldn't you just let me disappear? You stole $15,000 from community donations meant to help my daughter. No, she was let out. You know what the funny part is? I almost respect you. You're as ruthless as I am. You just have better PR. The difference is I fight for my family. You fight for yourself. We stood in the parking lot afterward, watching the police cruiser pull onto Tropicana Avenue. Travis remained by the motel room. Not arrested. No proof he knew about the theft. But destroyed anyway. He looked at Delphine, mouth opening. She turned away, walked to our rental car without looking back. That was the moment of defeat. Not the handcuffs. The turn back. Fletcher put his hand on my shoulder. Come on, Dad. Let's take Delphine home. We flew back that night, landed in Portland at 11 p.m., drove through dark streets to Morning Brew. The calf sat empty, temporarily closed sign in the window. I need to see inside, Delphine said. We unlocked the door. The interior smelled stale. Most inventory gone. Aura had taken it when she cleaned the register. Delphine picked up envelopes from the counter. Bills, unpaid suppliers, final notices. Started opening them. Her expression never changed, but I watched the light dim with each envelope. Dad, her voice was small. It's worse than I thought. How bad? She spread bills across the counter. With the stolen money, unpaid suppliers, legal fees, back rent, we owe $23,000. Before we can even think about reopening, Fletcher spoke up. I have the $40,000 I offered. You already loaned money. I can't take more. And $40,000 barely gets us operational. It doesn't cover inventory, staff, insurance. She looked up at me, eyes filling with tears. Dad, I won legally, but I lost everything anyway. Morning Brew is dead. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. She was right. We'd defeated Aura, gotten justice, but justice doesn't pay bills. Let's go home, I said finally. We'll figure something out tomorrow. Driving away, watching Morning Brew disappear in the rearview mirror, I wondered, what was there to figure out? We'd saved the calf, legally, but destroyed it financially. Maybe Aura had won after all. Back at my apartment at 1 a.m., Delphine went to bed exhausted. Fletcher made tea neither of us drank. Dad, he said after long silence, what do we do now? I didn't have an answer. For the first time in this entire nightmare, I genuinely didn't know. The next morning came too early. My phone buzzed, missed calls, text messages, emails, numbers I didn't recognize. First text, saw the news about Morning Brew. We want to help. Susan R. Second, read about Delphine. Attaching donation, coffee's on us. Portland Foodies Group. More texts, more offers. By the time Delphine woke, my phone had 73 messages. Fletcher's had 42. News of Aura's arrest had made the Portland Mercury, the Sentinel, every food blog, and Portland had decided to do what Portland does best, take care of its own. Octavia Pierce posted at 6 a.m. Morning Brew needs our help. Delphine fought and won legally, but faces $23K debt from Aura's destruction. I'm starting a GoFundMe. Who's with me? Within 2 hours, $8,000. Delphine read messages crying, Dad, listen, we're a commercial kitchen. We'll donate 20 pounds of flour and 10 pounds of butter monthly for 6 months. And this, I'm a licensed electrician. I'll update the wiring free. That's Portland, I said. We take care of our own. Fletcher looked up from his phone. There's a Facebook group, Save Morning Brew. 4,000 members organizing supply drives, volunteer shifts. By end of first week, $31,000. 8,000 more than needed. 6 weeks of renovation followed. Fresh paint from volunteers. New tables donated. Equipment repairs at cost. Delphine's 8-year-old daughter Faye helped paint a mural. Stick figure woman holding a coffee cup like a shield. Mom, the superhero. Reopening day, line around the block. Local news coverage. Octavia documenting everything. Delphine's apple cinnamon pie sold out in 20 minutes. 6 weeks after that, Aura's sentencing. Multnomah County Courthouse. Orange jumpsuit. Hair pulled back. No pearls. Judge Martinez, 18 months county jail plus $15,000 restitution. Before being led away, Aura asked permission to speak. Delphine, Mr. Patterson, I destroyed your family. I stole from you. Everything they said about me is true. I am exactly the villain everyone says I am. Her voice cracked. What I told you in Vegas was true. I wanted to matter again, and I destroyed your lives to get it. That's unforgivable. I'm not asking forgiveness. I'm just acknowledging what I did. For the first time, I'm telling the complete truth. I'm sorry. She looked at Delphine. Your calf is beautiful. I saw photos online. You did that, not me. Everything good about Morning Brew was always you. Delphine stood, walked out without a word. Aura watched her go, nodded slowly. I understand. 1 month later, a letter arrived from Travis. From jail, unpaid child support from his first marriage. Delphine read it aloud. I'm not asking forgiveness. I'm writing to tell you I understand now. I wasn't just weak, I was complicit. I chose comfort over courage. I watched my mother hurt you and did nothing. That's cowardice. You deserve better. I signed the divorce papers. No contest. I hope Morning Brew succeeds. I won't contact you again. Travis, she folded it, put it in a drawer, didn't respond. 2 weeks later, an envelope arrived. No return address. Eugene postmark. $5,000 check. Note. From Travis. Everything I could gather. She deserves this. T. I stared at it a long time. then forwarded it to Delphine without comment. She deposited it without comment. 6 months after reopening, Morning Brew thrived. Not wildly successful, but stable. I sat at my usual corner table most mornings, newspaper, black coffee, Delphine behind the counter, chatting with customers, Faye doing homework at a table, Fletcher video called weekly from Berlin, his photo hung on the Café's family wall, next to my vintage sanitation poster. Octavia came in twice weekly, writing a book about Portland's food community. Morning Brew featured prominently. Travis sent child support payments on time, never with notes, just checks. Delphine deposited them without comment. Aura still had 8 months left. Delphine never visited, didn't plan to. Aura wrote letters occasionally. Delphine didn't open them, kept them in a drawer, not for closure, just because throwing them away felt like caring enough to make the effort. The caf was Delphine's, fully hers. No one could take that away. It wasn't the life she'd imagined when I first gave her the keys. It was harder, more complicated, built on rubble and community goodwill, but it was hers. One Saturday morning, someone asked me, "Was it worth it, all that fighting?" I looked at my daughter, smiled slightly. "Ask me in 10 years, because that's the truth. Victory isn't a moment, it's what you build after." Fletcher appeared on video call at the bar. "Dad, you know what's funny? Aura thought an old inspector would be easy. She forgot. I spent 35 years shutting down establishments that thought they were smarter than the rules." He laughed. "That's the most you've ever sounded like a movie hero." "Heroes don't exist, Fletcher. Just stubborn old men who refuse to let bullies win." "Dad," Delphine called from the counter, "order up. Your cinnamon roll is ready." I walked over. She watched nervously. I bit into it. Chewed. Swallowed. "Well?" "Perfect. Just like everything else you do." She smiled. Really smiled. The kind that's been missing for months. That, right there, that's the victory. Not the legal judgments. Not Aura in prison. Not the money raised. Just my daughter smiling while making cinnamon rolls in her own caf. I'm 70 years old. My retirement savings are gone. My daughter's a divorced single mother running a caf. That almost destroyed her. But she's free. She's strong. She survived what tried to break her. The mountain air through the caf. Door felt clean. I breathed it in. All of it. If you like this story, please like this video. Subscribe to the channel and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.